Good morning. I want to say thank you to joining us for this first installment of the video part of Saturday morning snippets. Hopefully we will refine this as we go. Anyway, let's get right into it. We're about to read a passage from John chapter 2. And the preceding portion of this is Jesus has performed a few miracles. Now he's gone into the temple. And in going into the temple, he sees people who are putting obstructions, the leaders who are putting obstructions to the poor people who are wanting to come in, and they want to worship God. They want to pray. They want forgiveness of their sins. But there are a lot of financial barriers that have been established for them. Barriers that God did not establish, but that the leaders have. And hoops for them to jump through, if you will. And this angered Jesus, and he stopped that. And so the Jews approached him with a question, and that's what we're about to read, John chapter 2, verse 18. So the Jews said to him, this speaking the Jewish leaders, "What sign do you show us for doing these things?" In verse 19, Jesus gives an answer that almost doesn't seem to answer the question, but let's read it. Jesus answered them, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." That's, as it often is with the answers Jesus gives, an unusual answer. It doesn't seem to answer the question that they asked. They wanted to know his authority. He does not point to Old Testament scripture. He does not point to some aspect of God in heaven. He does not point to some rule of the temple or some law that had been established by the Sadducees or the Pharisees. So he gives this answer that says, I will raise it up. And the answer is perfect, because the reason Jesus was upset is because the people, the leaders, had established a barrier between those who would seek God and God. And now Jesus was on the scene. And Jesus wasn't the stone and block temple of God. He was the perfect fleshly embodiment of God. Scripture says he was Emmanuel, God with us. And he was perfection. And he was holy. And when the people were seeking, they were seeking Christ himself, even without knowing that. That's what it was. And Jesus was upset that someone would establish a barrier. And so he gave them the answer that showed who he was, because he said of his body that I will raise it up. He has absolute authority. And he was about to pay, at some point in the future, he was going to pay this sacrifice for everyone to be able to approach God directly. And how dare they set up barriers to keep people from coming to God? And he's saying, I have that authority. It's in me. I will raise up this temple. And I love that about the strength of our King. He did not need someone to come and let him out of the tomb. He said, I will raise up my own body when dead. You know, I can barely do things most days in my life, much less be able to do anything in death. And yet Jesus was the victor in death as well and raised up his own body. That's the strength that we're relying on. So we get two tremendous lessons from this passage. One, let's don't create barriers to people coming to God. It doesn't mean we always agree with them. It doesn't mean we have the same theological stance or doctrinal views or approaches to God in the sense that we worship the same. But if they're coming to God through Jesus Christ, don't create obstacles. Let's pave the way for them to do that and let God make the changes in their lives that are needed. The second thing that it teaches us is that when we are serving our King, we will become tired and discouraged, and we will have opponents, and there will be challenges, but that's okay, because our King is so powerful and so wonderful that even in death, he was able in and of himself to be victorious. And that's the power that we're relying on. And that's the power that's leading us in our day-to-day life and our ministry. So rest in the strength of these two points that we learned from this. One, to adjust how we deal with others, perhaps, so that we pave the way for them. And the other is to rely on the full strength of Christ in every point of our life. I hope you're blessed by this. Stay tuned to future Saturdays and little snippets that might lift us up and encourage us. And please share. God bless you.